Coming up,
Firebombs were pelted through the glass.
This is a hate crime.
despicable attacks on our land.
To sow hatred and division in our community.
Masterminded by Iran.
Lit the matches and fanned the flame.
The ambassador's given the boot.
Ambassador, how do you feel being expelled from Australia?
Part of the job.
Now, Tehran responds.
This is absurd. No such things as anti-Semitism in Iranian history, religion, or policy.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
For the first time in 80 years, last week the Australian government took the drastic action of kicking an ambassador out of the country. Iran's highest-ranking diplomat here, Ahmad Sadeghi, was declared persona non grata. His expulsion came after an ASIO-led investigation found the Iranian regime was behind two terrifying anti-Semitic attacks on Australian soil last year. Tehran emphatically denies it was involved, and tonight responds in an exclusive interview with 9 News National Affairs editor Andrew Probyn.
This is the military outfit Canberra says is responsible for orchestrating at least 2 violent anti-Semitic attacks on Australian soil. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard.
These were extraordinary and dangerous acts of aggression. They were attempts to undermine social cohesion and sow discord in our community.
The Australian government has blacklisted the group and will prescribe it as a terrorist organisation. The decision was made following a declaration by ASIO boss Mike Burgess that the Revolutionary Guard had ordered the firebombing of the Adas Synagogue in Melbourne and a kosher restaurant in Sydney last year.
Iran and its proxies literally and figuratively lit the matches and fanned the flames.
The revelations of foreign interference by the Islamic Republic propelled the government into action. The Prime Minister banished Iran's ambassador, Ahmad Sadeghi.
I say the last goodbye to you.
Severing decades of diplomatic ties between Tehran and Canberra.
It is totally unacceptable, and the Australian government is taking strong and decisive action in response.
But Iran isn't backing down. The regime's Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister, Esmaeil Baghaei, has hit back, saying the claims are baseless and his country is the victim of an unfounded conspiracy theory. Esmaeil Baghaei, thank you so much for joining 60 Minutes Australia.
Thank you.
First of all, what is the Iranian government's response to the expulsion of the Iranian ambassador, Ahmad Sadeghi?
It's regrettable. We think what the Australian government did was unjustified. So it came all as a surprise to see that the Australian government decided to cut down our diplomatic relations.
This is the first time since World War II that Australia has expelled an ambassador. The Australian government clearly doesn't do that lightly.
No one can believe in Iran that this accusation has any basis in reality. It is simply a fabrication. We have our analysis why the Australian government decided to level such accusation against Iran.
Okay, what is your analysis then?
Some people perhaps in the Australian government decided to find the easiest way to please or appease Benjamin Netanyahu by accusing Iran of anti-Semitism.
Australian intelligence agencies say that they have credible evidence that Iran is behind the funding and orchestration of 2 violent acts of anti-Semitism. Is this true?
This is absurd. This is the same ASIO that in 2003 tried to fabricate similar information, similar data in order to substantiate the allegations of weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And everyone knows now that the accusation of WMD in Iraq was simply baseless and untrue.
Well, you mentioned intelligence agencies in Australia. I'm told that they have forensically analysed the money trail between Australia and traced it right back to Tehran and to key figures in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. What do you say to that?
They have provided no evidence of such accusation, and we have categorically denied this accusation. And by the way, please bear in mind that Mossad was cooperating with ASIO on this case. It's like consulting with Jeffrey Epstein on finding traces of human trafficking.
You say that Australia has fallen victim to a Mossad plot, but Australia, like the US and Canada, has listed the Islamic Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist organisation. What is the work that the IRGC actually does?
I think the fact that the United States did something against Iran doesn't mean that it is logical or it is legal or it is just. What is regrettable is the fact that other countries follow the US path.
Now, you've not answered the question, though. What is it, in your own words, that the IRGC actually does, given that international agencies believe that the IRGC is responsible for up to 200 attacks since 1980?
Who made that claim?
There are
when you say international agencies, I think you're referring to intelligence, the United States intelligence agencies or Mossad or others. So IRGC is part of Iran's official armed forces responsible for defending Iran's territory and people against any enemy.
Well, you ask who says this. These attacks have been reported in Africa, Europe, Asia. Britain alone says it's foiled more than 20 attacks by Iran in just the past 3 years.
As I said, it's simply untrue. You see, this is a campaign of disinformation and misinformation. This is part of Iranophobia because they know that IRGC is a strong force against Iran's enemies.
It's being reported in Australia that the Iranian diaspora here is regularly being watched and harassed. Is this also untrue?
It is absolutely untrue.
If it's not the Iranian government, who is doing it?
As I said, we categorically deny any such report, any such allegation of Iran doing surveillance or monitoring on our citizens in Australia. That's untrue.
What plans does Iran have to try and repair the relationship with Australia?
It was Australian government that decided to cut down diplomatic relation. It was not vice versa. So it is for the Australian government to decide what really fits their nation's interest. And we have been self-restrained in terms of our reaction to what they did.
What assurances can you give to the 2,000 to 4,000 Australians in Iran at the moment? Are they safe?
Of course they are. They are our citizens.
Okay, Minister, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
On this week's 60 Minutes podcast, Extra Minutes, is there any hope for Australia's relationship with Iran?
This is one of the things that the ambassador, the point that he was trying to make, is that Iran wants a better relationship with Australia because we have things that they want.
That's Extra Minutes, available now on the 60 Minutes Australia YouTube channel.